Hello, welcome to the Empowered Dentist Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Brad Brayman. Thank you for joining us today. Just like a few minutes of your time. I hope this to provide some good value for you. In today's episode, we'll be discussing the rejection of work as a coping mechanism for burnout. Where did this come from? Well, I was able to participate in an interview with an executive from Google, from the C-suite. Her name needs to remain confidential, but she did say that I could share this. And she's found that in her life and in some of her other coworkers in the C-suite, that she noticed something going on where when they would start feeling burned out, they would just double down on work. If I just work a little harder, if I just plow a little harder, I will get this done. I will get to the next level. If I just plow a little harder, I'll get to, and you just keep going and going and going. And pretty soon they wind up so burned out. She mentioned one of her colleagues that actually wound up in the hospital with depleted adrenal glands from the ridiculous amount of cortisol that this person had. They were basically in adrenal burnout. So that's the ultimate, or that's kind of the end game here, which we obviously want to avoid. Because burnout is a pretty serious issue that affects all of us. And certainly as dentists, we're no stranger to the idea of being burned out. I work with a lot of clients, begin working with a lot of clients that are burned out. And fortunately, we're able to rescue them from that and get them on a path to enjoying what they do on a regular basis. So it's really easy to wind up in burnout. So to start, let's just define what burnout is. And this comes straight out of the dictionary. Burnout, I'm just going to read exactly what it says. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. It can result from work, personal life, or a combination of both. Some common symptoms of burnout include chronic fatigue, decreased productivity, and feelings of cynicism or detachment. And I think that's just the beginning of the list. I know we could all add a significant number of things to that. Being cranky with your family, being cranky with your team, being cranky with the UPS man, not having the bandwidth to deal with things as they come down the pipe at you. The list goes on. It's endless. So what is this working as a coping mechanism? So how this Google exec defined it is, and again, I'm just reading from my notes from the interview. One common coping mechanism for burnout is using work as an escape or a distraction. Many individuals find solace in burying themselves in their work, believing that it gives them a sense of purpose and control. And we have all done this. Well, if I just schedule one more day this week, if I just work Fridays, I know I can get to my financial goals. I'm so burned out I can't even get up in the morning, but by golly, I'm gonna add Friday, and I know that's gonna push me into the next tax bracket. And it kind of makes sense on the surface to turn to work as a way of coping, because it does provide a little temporary relief, maybe more of a distraction from your burnout. We all know where burnout winds up. Hopefully not as far down the road as this person's colleague who wound up in the hospital. But if you rely solely on work as a coping mechanism, there's obviously a lot of negative consequences of which we're all aware. Some of the things that she listed that she's observed in her with her coworkers, overworking can perpetuate the cycle of burnout. I crossed out the word can and wrote will. Not only can it absolutely will perpetuate the cycle of burnout. And not only does it perpetuate it, it keeps making it worse. So it's a self-effacing cycle that just makes it worse and worse and worse, which leads to further exhaustion, less productivity, and just overall being a miserable human being for yourself, to yourself, and to the people around you. It strains relationships. You begin to neglect your self-care, and just overarchingly, it absolutely cuts your personal well-being off at the knees, maybe even higher. So what do we do about this? There are some alternatives. You don't have to use work as a coping mechanism for burnout. So what are some of the alternatives? Prioritize your self-care. Make yourself important. And this next one is huge. Set some boundaries. Don't be a doormat for everybody. Don't be a doormat for anybody, including yourself. If you need some help, ask for it. There's no shame in asking for some help. We oftentimes don't want to do that. Our culture is very self-supporting, and we don't want to ask for help, or at least we don't want to be seen asking for help. So it's great to ask for it in private. Find some things you enjoy doing outside of work that don't have anything to do with work, that don't even remind you of work, that bring you joy. Maybe it's running, maybe it's going for a hike, maybe it's going for a boat trip. Some relaxation techniques like meditation. There's mindfulness meditation, works really well for some people. There's transcendental meditation that works really well for some people. Find one of those that works for you. It doesn't matter so much what the activity is, but that you find some things that add meaning to your life that have nothing to do with work. Maybe it's spending time with your family, friends, pursuing other hobbies. The bottom line is finding some balance is key in your life. And at Empowered Dentist, we call it life-work balance, because we are convinced, and having seen this hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of times, the term work-life balance is exactly backwards, because it places work above life, in front of life. And that is a sure way to find yourself in burnout. So find some other things that you enjoy doing. Make time to do those. If you don't feel like you can do those because work has got you so backed into a corner, maybe this is time to look for some help. And if that's something, if you are looking for some help around that, that's certainly something that we can help you with. Feel free to reach out to us. Be our pleasure. But even if not, reach out to a friend, reach out to maybe the clergy if church is your thing. Doesn't matter, but find somebody that can help you with burnout. Okay, recognize when it's happening. Recognize when burnout is hitting you, and recognize the limitations that places on you. And if you reject work as the sole solution, and you start exploring some alternative strategies to not just cope with burnout, but to actually extinguish it. And that's a big difference. Coping with it means it's still there and you're just learning to live with it. It's like walking around with a broken leg. You learn how to do it, but it isn't much fun. So what you really like is for that leg to heal. So let's get rid of burnout. Let's just eliminate it. It's to break out of this cycle. We all know people who have done it. And if you find yourself wanting to do it, or maybe you're just starting into burnout, don't let yourself go down that road. Don't make it worse by doubling down on work as a distraction from what's really going on. Again, if there's anything we can help you with in relative to that, we've helped a lot of people, both with their practice, consulting, and with executive coaching to help them break free from burnout and actually really start to enjoy their lives again. You can reach us at, feel free to email me personally, brad@empowereddentist.com. Feel free to visit our website, empowereddentist.com. And you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. All ways to reach out. Feel free to get a hold of us. And in the meantime, I hope your life is extraordinary. Thank you for joining us.